Hello, welcome to March 19th, 2024. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation. This is an exercise that I do each and every day, a little bit after waking up. It's now 5:44 a.m. I do this to remember my life objectives and principles, those which are outlined in my book, Going Alone. I also use the time to think about the last 24 hours and how I did with the challenges and the opportunities that I met. I recite the 8 objectives of my creed to align me to the direction that I want to head towards today, and I prepare for the coming day, and very importantly, ready myself for death. Okay, let's get started. And first of all, welcome to the new subscribers to the channel. It's great to have you here. As I struggle to unwrap this straw, I'll give you a few disclaimers. One, this video is happening in Japan from a Japanese convenience store. But if you're here for Japan content, this really isn't the right series. It's Good Life series. This is my journal, basically, where I talk about my life and how to improve. I do it publicly because I do a better job when I do it publicly. I used to do this in my head on my motorcycle commute, my 50-minute motorcycle commute at work in Los Angeles. And then I found that if I turned the camera on, because I had a camera on my helmet with a microphone, if I turned it on and did it while I was riding, I did a lot better job. It was like twice as long. I covered a lot more detail. I was a lot more thoughtful. It wasn't live then, but I would upload it. It was because I knew people might see it, and when you know you've got an audience, you tend to perform better, right? At least that's the idea. Well, this is a cafe latte, grande with sugar-free, the mini stop brand. I'm going to thank you for this in a second, but let me take a sip. Sugar-free. So this is not a Japan-related video, although I am in Japan. So if you're here, if you want to watch me do my journal entry, you're welcome to join me. Also, I do talk about, as I mentioned just a moment ago, death and other subjects that are unsettling to people. At least that's the comments in the email, the cards and letters that I frequently get. So if you hear me talking about my own death, which is typically the direction it goes. Remember, this is my journal, so I'm talking about me. So it's not that I'm dying necessarily, although I am. We all are. It's just that I'm preparing for death. So I don't know. I'm being long-winded to say that if you're not comfortable hearing about death, then again, this video is maybe not for you. Finally, I want to say thank you to all of you for buying me this latte this morning. Especially the members on YouTube, and especially my Patreon supporters. I really do appreciate your support. As a retired man, living on a fixed income, I try to ensure that the budget goes to our household. Your support here fuels my YouTube endeavors, pays for all the stuff, and including my coffee. Thank you. Okay, let's get, quick intro. I decided I was going to start doing this pretty much on a daily basis. I'll make it really quick, a quick intro and bio for the new subscribers. Hi, my name's Kurt. I'm a 60-year-old man from America. I'm newly retired. It's been about 3 months, just a little over 3 months. I'm married to a Japanese woman, same age, newly retired. She's been retired kind of the same. She retired and then worked part-time. She retired in May 2024 and then worked part-time until December. Now we're both fully retired as of December 2024. So we're 3 months in. We're living in Japan. We have a 24-year-old daughter who's recently graduated from university, living in Tokyo, starting her career and life there. We live here in a community in Shizuoka called Yada, which means the Valley of Tea, where my wife was born and raised, and where we raised our daughter as well until high school when we brought her to America and made an American out of her. That's me, basically. I make YouTube videos around a wide range of things. Traditionally in the past, Japan adventure videos in the deep mountains. Now I make videos journaling my retirement journey and throwing in other things as well. And then I make these daily videos too. Okay, with that underway, and I do keep notes every day. I keep this notebook with me always, and I lay out my day. I give the day a name, and then I follow through, just like I did when I was an employed project manager. I would list out, break down tasks into a work breakdown structure and follow them accordingly, and I still do that now. So I did that, I did that, I did that, I did the welcome. Okay, now what I'm going to do is three things. I'm going to talk about the last 24 hours, the challenges and the opportunities that I met, discuss how I did and where I could improve and where I did well. So pat on the back if I did well, chastisement if I didn't, and maybe a reflection on how I could do better tomorrow or today even. Then I'll recite the 8 objectives of my creed, and then I will talk about what my objectives are today. Now, there's a lot to cover today, but I have a feeling it won't take a lot of time. But I've got plenty of time. Heck, I'm retired. I can do what the hell I want to do now. I keep telling myself that. It's not really true. Okay, so I have 4 notes from yesterday. Okay, I'm going to talk about first is a puzzle. That's the note. And namely yesterday's reaction to the said puzzle. 2 is dad's stories. I'm a dad, but not me, my wife's dad's stories. 3, physical limits. And 4, the woman's face. Let's go through them. So first, the puzzle. I'm not going to give any details, but I was working on something yesterday on the computer related to our finances, and I broke something important related to our financial circumstances. Complicated, right? So, our retirement savings and our retirement income comes from the United States, and I have a complicated mechanism by which I move it over to our bank account here in Japan. And I broke something yesterday, and I don't know how to fix it. So here's the important thing. The important thing in this exercise is not to solve problems. The important thing is to look at things that happened in the course of yesterday, the last 24 hours, and how I reacted to them. Now, in the moment that I broke it, there was a rise of panic. Deep panic, because this is an important piece of the puzzle. And I used hashtag, and if you see me use the word, if I use hashtag, if I say hashtag and then some strange word, I'm referencing back to my book and the Good Life Creed, which is what I use, my roadmap for life. And I'm usually referring to either one of my principles, 35 principles, or one of the 8 objectives. So, hashtag Temperance. I immediately saw the panic rise. And if you feel it, it rises like this, right? You feel it coming from your gut, and it rises like this. And I said, whoa, hashtag Temperance, Kurt. Cool this down. This is not the end of the world. Then I applied hashtag Reason, which is another one of the principles, to then reason my way through it. To say, okay, first of all, if I can't fix this, is there a workaround? Yes, there is a workaround. There's almost always a workaround, right? Unless it's stage 4. That's a heavy thing to say, Kurt. Man, Jesus. I wish I hadn't said that. I apologize. It's on my mind. That brings up something that I haven't even talked about here, but it's deep on my mind. So that was a slip. Sorry. Okay, so this issue, it arose on my mind, hashtag Temperance. I held it down, didn't bubble to the surface. Anybody that would have been, and I was at a public place at that time, sitting on a computer enjoying a coffee. I was alone, and there was a pretty young thing sitting just across from me, and if she had happened to see me at that moment, she would not have seen anything on my face, because I was at the computer. I wouldn't have gone, I wouldn't have gone like this. I would have kept my same face, because I caught it before it got any higher. Then I used reason to say, okay, if I can't fix this, go to the worst case scenario, what can I do? And I immediately strategized a workaround, which is in fact a good workaround. It's a costly workaround. It ain't cheap to do, but it'll work. So I'm not all is not lost. And then I said, well, okay, what's the next thing to do? Research it. So I enlisted ChatGPT, the reasoning model, I explained the problem to it and asked it to come up with possible causes and ideas, and it gave me a list of ideas which were in alignment with what my experience was, and I tried some of them. They didn't work, and then so I decided to hold off and tackle the problem again tomorrow, which is today, which I'll do, and in the days to follow. And then I asked myself about the worst case scenario that I can't resolve it at all. Then I have to come up with a contingency plan, and I did that as well. I did all of that in the course of about 5 minutes, sitting there alone, researching that thing. Nobody that would have been sitting around me would have noticed a thing, because I kept it all to myself. And then when I went home, I calmly explained the situation to my wife in such a way as to not worry or panic her, explaining to her that I encountered a problem with our finances, the mechanism of doing things. I think I can work around it, and I'm working on the solution. So you see what I mean was that I then I can't think of a hashtag to go with that one. What would that be? The social principle. Yeah, hashtag social principle. I'm always very clear with my wife about because I manage all the finances, about where we are and what we're doing and how things are going. And so I need to let her know that, I broke something. I'm trying to fix it. If I can't fix it, I've got to work around. I can work around it. It's just complicated. And so she's like, as typical, she's like, yeah, whatever, because that's my dominion, right? I'm the one that I bear that weight of responsibility. So she trusts me. So that was it, the puzzle, and I will continue working on that puzzle today. Or the second bullet item here was, and so how would I give myself a score on that one? I usually give myself a star rating. So what was the situation? How did I respond? I would give myself, that's a 5 stars. 5 is the max you can get, because I caught the emotions early. I used reason to find my options. I then enlisted ChatGPT to help me come up with a catalog of solutions. I identified as a project manager my stakeholders, the people that are involved in this, which is namely my wife. And I came up with a communication plan, another project management thing, to communicate the issue clearly without panicking her. And I did so, and I've got it under control. So it's an issue, just like when I was a project manager. It's an issue that I'm managing. So yeah, I did 5 stars. That was good. Okay, the next one is an interesting one. Dad's stories. Now, my father-in-law, we take one of the things we do that now that we're retired here is that we take care of my wife's 90-year-old dad during the day and his lunch. Now, mostly for the most part, he's pretty much on his own. He's got a brand new house he built, beautiful home, so comfortable. It's warm in the day. It's safe. He's got everything he wants. He's got his NHK, it's the newspaper delivery. He's got all of his neighbors, and it's all within walking distance. All of his friends are there. So I mean, the guy's like, it's like a retirement senior citizen club. I'll be walking down the street or driving down the street, and there he is sitting there talking to some 90 something year old woman that he was in kindergarten with, right? It is funny. It's funny too. That woman that I'm thinking of in particular, she has this habit. She does her laundry, and she doesn't have a house that has a proper laundry hood. So she hangs it. She puts her laundry on, it looks like a dish rack on the floor in the street, on the set ground in the street. She's been doing that since when I was raising my daughter here. She was doing that, and every time there's a strong wind, it knocks the laundry over onto the street. And I saw the other day, I was walking past and I saw the laundry knocked over on the street. Now, I'm not going to pick it up. This is her thing. Nobody's going to pick it up because this is her thing. Everybody in the neighborhood knows she accepts that her laundry is going to get knocked over at every strong breeze that comes through. And I was just thinking to myself the other day, that is so Japanese. The shogunai thing. But sometimes the shogunai thing, it can't be helped, goes so far as to say, I'm not even going to look for another solution because this problem could be solved so easily. Just put a brick out there and weigh it down or something like that. But no, every time. Anyway, that's the woman Dad's talking to. I'm way off topic. Dad, he has this thick accent. Even Japanese people that I've introduced him to tell me, wow, you're father-in-law is really hard to understand. April, if you're out there, you'll know the feeling because your father-in-law from Okinawa has a strong Okinawan accent, and my Japanese isn't very good. So here's the thing: when we're together and we take him out to lunch, we take care of his lunch every day. Half the time we take him out for lunch. Yesterday we took him out to ramen, and it's really, really a strain for me to talk to him. He doesn't speak any English, but I always like to. And in particular, he doesn't, nobody, I don't know why, nobody asks him this. Nobody in the family seems to ever query him about the past. I'm the only one that really is, because he's a treasure trove of knowledge. Like he knows where the samurai house was up the street. He knows where every tree was lined, everything. So over the decades that I've known him, I think I've explored everything that I could possibly ask him about his childhood, all his memories. But I asked him yesterday, and here's the thing that was a challenge, was to engage him in Japanese, because it's another level of Japanese, because he doesn't slow down, he doesn't pull punches. Anyway, I asked him about an abandoned farm that I found that I haven't yet explored in the bamboo forest across the river from my house. And he went off and he just had the most fun talking about everything. Now, I never lean on my wife when I'm talking to Dad, or my daughter or anybody. I try to just soldier on and do it myself. And I'm just pointing this out because I was able to find a question to ask him that then led to several other questions that animated his face and his mind and brought back memories. And he went on and on and on. Most of it I couldn't understand, but I did follow enough. And I was just pleased with myself that remember, this is my diary. I was pleased with myself that I was able to find a question that I could ask him that would elicit such enthusiasm out of him. So I'm going to give myself another 5 stars for that one. Okay, remember, it's challenges and opportunities. That's what this diary is about. What did I do? Because I could have just sat there and waited for my ramen, but no, I said, okay, filtered through my mind. I said, Kurt, find something you can talk to Dad about. He was sitting right across from me. Also, and this is where I deserve another star. When he gets animated, he goes like this a lot, which causes his gray nose hairs to fly out of his nose. And I only counted 2 nose hairs next to my ramen. So that was the other thing I got to give myself kudos for. Was I knew it was coming. I knew as soon as I got him talking, nose hair would be flying, and it sure was. Okay, the next one is physical limits. This is just a comment. Nothing happened yesterday that pressed my limits, other than to say that I did a lot of work in the yard. The Good Life meditation video that I'm uploading today on YouTube, only captured a small portion of the stuff that I did in the yard. And man, I'm getting strong out there. My body's adjusting to that. I didn't, 2 weeks ago, I would hit this limit and I'm not getting like that. I can just go and go and go now. So I'm loving that. Okay, the last thing is called Woman's Face. This is probably the most interesting of the things that I encountered yesterday. In the afternoon dog walk, the midday dog walk, Yumiko's foot is hurt, so I'm walking the dogs mostly by myself these days. I was out with the 2 dogs, and if you follow my Red Tyranny in Japan videos, you may recognize that there's Yada is down in the valley. We're a river community. Kuniyoshida is the community on the mountain, or the hill just above us. And there's this one house, it's an akiya, a very nice akiya, empty house, and it's got a little trail, steps that go up, and I use that trail to go up and then walk along the edge of Kuniyoshida. That's where I get the shot of Mount Fuji, and then I come down the other side into my house. Now when I come up, so these are nice communities, and when I come up the other side, I emerge in a part of the Kuniyoshida that, if you don't know that those stairs are there, and there's a lot of people up there who don't even know those stairs are there. You'd have to have been here for a while to figure that out. If nobody knows you're there, you just kind of pop up all of a sudden. And that's what happened yesterday. I kind of emerged out of the woods, and I was dressed very similar to this, except I had my mask, and I was carrying Rudy, the white dog, and I had Ollie, the black dog. And the reason I was carrying Rudy was I saw, as I came up over the thing, I saw a woman, like a mother, housewife type, with 4 children, 3 small elementary school kids who had just come from school. She had probably stepped out to escort them home, and then a junior high school age girl. And the junior high school age girl wasn't in her school uniform, so she must have gone home, already been out of school, and then I was a late walk. Anyway, I came up and I saw them, and I knew that Rudy wouldn't like the fishy business of the kids playing, so I picked Rudy up, and I had Ollie here, and by then, I had Ollie tight. By then, I had my headphones in, and I was listening to a podcast, the Japan What podcast, with my friend from Twitter. And now I can't. And sometimes people want to talk to me, and I couldn't hit any buttons to stop the thing, and so I just kind of shuffled along, and then the woman kind of spied me all of a sudden. Like I said, if you come up that trail, you just kind of emerge out of nowhere, right? And she couldn't see me come because we were at the corner. She couldn't see me coming from that way. She couldn't see me come from that way. Where the hell did this foreigner come from, bearing these two dogs? Anyway, and she gave me a look, and it was a sour look. And I think it was more of a suspect look, because I did look suspicious, all dressed in dark and covered up and carrying dogs. And I was trying not to engage anybody because I was hoping nobody would talk to me, because kids do. They'll talk to me and I'll talk to them. They'll talk to me in English or Japanese. But I couldn't talk to anybody because I was listening to the podcast. My friend Matt's voice was in my ear. So I kind of looked suspicious, and she gave me a look like I looked suspicious. And then I went up further, and then I made a left to do, well, I'm giving you more information than I need. Anyway, I got close to where her house was. I didn't know it was her house. And as I was coming back, she gave me another suspicious look. And I thought, here's where I get to use my principles, right? Again, first thing I used #Temperance to temper my feeling of because it was kind of feeling like unjust, like I didn't do anything. I'm not a bad guy. I'm not a thief. I'm not, your children are not in danger on me. And then I started using #reason again to say, well, maybe there's other reasons for that. Maybe she's having a bad day. Who knows? Finally, the thing that made me realize that it must be something else was I got a little further along. She went into her house with the 3 little kids, or maybe it was 2. And then I realized as I was going down the street that there was someone right behind me, and it was the middle school girl that was right behind me. And I realized if that mother, because I realize now that woman, the middle school girl, was somehow friends with the kids or something, and they were all going home from school together or something. And then they got to their house, and the mother took her kids inside and left the middle school girl to walk down the street alone to her house, which happened to be with me. I was right there. And I looked back to see, and the woman wasn't outside watching. If that woman thought I was suspect or something dangerous, there's no way she would have just let that middle school girl walk alone down the street with the strange-looking foreigner, suspicious-looking foreigner. So maybe I'm overthinking things. I have too much time on my hands, but I thought, okay, it's clearly whatever brought about that sour face, because I've been guilty of a sour face, showing a sour face at the world when it was nothing to do with the world. Maybe it had something to do with that, because she clearly didn't see me as a threat. Otherwise, she would have been standing out there watching me, or escorting the girl home, or asking the girl to wait until I had moved on. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. I'm not going to give myself any stars related to any of that. Well, maybe I'll give myself 3 stars, because I recognized in the moment, and I didn't take it personal, and I recognized there must be something more. That's pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to give yesterday a 4-star, back a day. Yesterday was a 4-star day. 4 out of 5 star. 4-star. In terms of my reactions to the challenges and opportunities that I met. Okay, now I'm going to do the 8 objectives of my creed, which are as follows: to be always ready to die, to make good and effective use of time, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles, to cultivate good emotional reactions, to perform good actions relative to my creed, to recognize true limits and true opportunities, to do just one thing at a time and do the thing slowly, deliberately, and carefully, and 8, to keep my balance. If you want details about those, check them out on my book, Going Alone, which you can read for free at goingalone.org. The chapter, The Good Life, will have all 8 objectives and 35 principles explained. Okay, now let's talk about today. It's now 6:08. I have 52 minutes to get home. There's plenty of time. I can have a nice walk. First, I gotta let you know, this is something strange. I have no idea what day of the week it is. I know it's the 19th. The only reason I know it's the 19th was because my notes say that yesterday was the 18th. But I don't know what day it is. This is increasingly happening all the time now that I'm retired. It just, you get this vague sense that it's a weekday because people are busy, and then it's the weekend because there's more people seem to be relaxed and they're out and about, right? I mean, and it's kind of fun having the world to ourselves, us retired people, during the day. Okay, what I'm going to do today is in the next 24 hours, I'm calling this my work. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move the remodel funds stage them. Like I said, I manage all the finances for us, so we're meeting with the contractor today to finalize our decision about the remodel of our bath, a new Japanese bath, and a new changing area called the Senmenjo, which is also the changing area / laundry room. I know basically how much it's going to cost now. We've visited the showrooms 3 times. We've got the estimates. I know the budget. I know what the budget is. So I'm going to move the money around in the United States and get the money staged to pay for this. I'm not going to bring it over to Japan just yet, but I'll get it staged. Once it's staged, then I know it's ready to go. Then we can meet with the contractor today, pull the trigger, because you know what I mean. Like, I don't want to, say, yeah, let's go for it, let's start work, and then the money's still deep in our savings in America. Get it ready to go. Just give me the peace of mind. Then after that, I'm going to work on the garden path, the roots, and then I might do my first live book reading this afternoon. I've got things set up so that the Wi-Fi seems to be working. I can be in the garden doing those live broadcasts. Why not do a live book reading? Yumiko's very busy. She's going to spend the whole morning with her dad at doctor's clinics, and then she's going to come home and we're going to meet the contractor in the afternoon. That's my day. Let's read through comments, and then I'll get back on the walking. There's Ryan. Hi, Ryan. Good morning. Robert says hi to myself and Ryan. Hello, Robert. Act 98006. Kurt, I'm curious about your bathroom. I thought you had decided everything a month ago. It seems like you're still negotiating the deal. Also, will the same contractor update the toilet room? So we have not decided everything. So a month ago, we had 3 manufacturers that we were considering. Takara Standard, Cleanup, and I think the other one was Panasonic, something like that. And we were going to showrooms and looking at them, and our contractor was helping us. Then the next stage was that our contractor began working with the various showrooms to talk. It's a long process to talk about things, and then we started going to the showroom with the contractor at our side to answer questions, getting options, and then they would prepare. The contractor works with the manufacturer behind the scenes, and they come up with quotes. So then the contractor came over to the house, and he says, "Well, here's your 3 quotes, right, for the house with all the options." So we look at the quotes and the options, and then we had changes. Like we decided we wanted to do the Senmenjo, the changing room. We wanted to do that kind of ourselves. We want to buy some stuff from IKEA because Yumiko likes the IKEA style Senmenjo, and that kind of threw a monkey wrench in everything. So we had to go back and do all that. And then finally, what we did earlier, was it this week or late last week? Yumiko and I, it was Monday actually. We've narrowed it down to 2 vendors from 3. Now we're down to Takara Standard and Cleanup, and we went back to the showrooms and we went through all the options again, which I thought was going to be a waste of time. It's like, why are we going back to the 3rd time? But it turned out it really was a good idea because, the decisions that we had made earlier, after that's been 2 months of deliberations, I'm starting to realize some of the earlier thoughts were better options. Like I totally switched. I was totally against what they call the downlight, which we call in America the canned light, the recessed spotlights above. I wanted the outside light. Totally changed my mind after all this experience. One thing after another changed our minds, and now I think we've nailed it. We know what we want, the configurations we want for each. And today we're meeting with our contractor to go over those details. This seems to be just the way that it's done here. Maybe it's the way it's done other ways too, but it's a long process, which we're fine because our bath works fine. It's like if our bath wasn't functional, then there'd be more of a rush. But frankly, I like our bath the best. If it was just me, I'd just keep it the way it is. But it's not me, it's my wife's house. Robert says hi to Act. Act says hi, Robert. Act says, also, Kurt, I never see you preparing meals. Do you cook? Seems like Yumiko does all the meal prep at home. So we are a very old school couple. Yumiko does everything at home. The only thing that I do is hang the laundry and take the laundry down. Yumiko cooks all the meals. She does all the cleaning. I call her the last Showa wife. She's even very detailed. Like, for example, at night what I mean by that is she's an old-fashioned traditional Japanese wife. She prepares the bath. I mean, she's so old school. She prepares the bath, and I must go first because I'm the man of the house. The other thing is, like, when we have meals, she cooks dinner, she puts the stuff out the nabe, and she puts all the serving implements, aims them at me. This was true even when we were raising our daughter, because as the father, as the husband and the head of the household, so to speak, I go first. Now, we've been doing this for almost 40 years, and and she won't have it any other way. We have tried various things out where I've done cleaning, etc. When we were both working in the United States, she acquiesced to allow me to clean the house in our small apartment. But as soon as she retired, she would have none of that. When I came back here to Japan, I said, hey, let's see, I can do this, that, the other thing. She said, no, or maybe not, right? She's adamant, I'm not to do any of that stuff. So I guess it depends on your perspective, but I mean, I just live there. And I don't cook. Yeah, C.E. Rouse stumped. Robert says, C.E. Rouse, nice to see you here. Yeah, nice to see you, C.E. Rouse. Small world. Yes, you've been following Kurt from way back. Yeah, no, Robert's been with me forever, ever. Robert's another J-vlogger from the old days. I fell into this channel maybe about 2 weeks ago. Well, it's nice to see you here, C.E. Rouse. I'm glad you're here. His voice and demeanor relaxes me. Oh, okay, I'm glad to hear that. Act says, Kurt, regarding your father-in-law, before my mother passed, I interviewed her on video about her life history. It might be worthwhile to capture him before it is too late. That's probably true. My Japanese isn't up to that task, and nobody in the family will do that, so it's not going to happen. Arrow Blue says, Jesus, making your personal development public for views and attention. 5 stars for being pathetic. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, minus 5 stars. Oh, darn it. Well, I guess I'll have to take those away from the ones I earned today. But thanks for watching my video. Mr. Safety Forever. Good morning to you, Mr. Safety. And C.E. Ross, she gave you stink eye. Yeah, she did give me stink eye. I don't know why she gave me stink eye, but could be, I've had that happen where I've not given people stink eye, but I've given them a sour face. And afterwards I thought, it wasn't that I was giving them a sour face, I was giving the world a sour face because I was in a bad mood. And I realized that gets, I call that in the book, #feast. It's called the Feast of Offal. It's when our internal frustrations bubble up and spew out into the world, and we share them with the world. So what I probably was seeing with that woman was a bit of whatever was bubbling up inside of her, because we've all got stuff bubbling up, was bubbling up into the world, and I happened to see it, right? And the idea of the feast, the reason I call it a Feast of Offal, is the offal, the waste and byproduct of our feelings, bubbles up, and then other people look at it and they consume it, and it gets them kind of sick, and they start feeling the same way, just as I did. Whatever was brewing inside of her bubbled up. She gave me a sour look, and then I began to have a sour doubt, right? Boy, that's a really good example of the Feast of Offal. Thanks for that, pointing that out. Yeah, the Tony Hawk, I get that a lot. Tony Hawk, Mr. Rogers, and I get told that I sound like a cartoon character, but I can't remember who. My wife doesn't allow me to cook. Hi, Joe. Good to see you, Joe Darkness. Joe, is that decision based on observation? That question is to Joe. To a point, I used every pan in the kitchen. Hello, Kurt. Hello, Dr. Buchanan. It's good to see you. All right, well, I've reached the end of comments. I'm going to go ahead and stop for now and endeavor to start my day in earnest. Thanks for joining me. I wish you all the best. Remember, be safe, but not too safe. And if if you choose to join me, maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.